This episode of Out of Spec Reviews is brought to you by Magna. More on that later. Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. Welcome to our office here in Fort Collins, Colorado, and welcome to, most importantly, the Rivian R1T. Finally, we have it in our possession for a full week. We're going to be doing a ton with it, and this is sort of our introductory video. So I want to take you on a quick tour of the spec that we have, some of the things we plan to do, and I also want to open up the comment section so that you can give us suggestions on what you want to see. Of course, we have like 30 videos planned of all the nerdy stuff, but I'm really curious what you want to see. And we have some gnarly weather coming in. I hear we're supposed to get dumped on with snow tonight. And so looking forward to what we're going to be able to do with this thing. So let's go through the full tour of it, and then I'll answer some of your questions that you've already asked me. So let me show you around the particular Rivian R1T that we have. By the way, this is a first edition or launch edition, I think is what it's called. So it's got 4 independent motors, which is pretty sweet. 135 kilowatt hour battery pack. We're going to see how much we can pull out of that, how much we can put into it. I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am about this thing. We actually went down to Rivian this morning and picked it up in Denver, and just driving it back up here from Denver, like 50 thumbs up on the way, people taking videos of it. People are so excited about this thing. And the white's growing on me. When they said we're going to get you a white one, I was like, okay, but like launch green would have been so sick. I kind of like it in white. What do you think, Timon?
I think it looks good.
Timon likes it. Okay, so let me show you under the hood. By the way, I have my little carabiner key thing. I asked for the app to connect to this, and right now apparently it's really hard to share the car with others, so we won't have the app for this vehicle. But hopefully when we go back, we can at least show you someone who does have the app for another vehicle and show you how that works. Underfloor storage, let's see what we have here. We genuinely haven't looked yet. So we have our gear guard. We're gonna have an out of spec Scoots video talking about micromobility and the Rivian coming at some point. We have child seat lower anchorage guides. That's pretty sweet. And then we have the nicest bag I've ever seen with a great color combo. I think it's probably the charger. It is. Portable charger guide. Technically, it's electric vehicle supply equipment, not necessarily a charger. The charger's done on board, as you guys know, but pretty sweet. Let's take a look at this thing. So it's a NEMA 1450 or a NEMA 515. So you have 2 different plug-ins that are adaptable to this unit. We'll of course be trying it out. We have a NEMA 1450 right in here, and perhaps we'll do a little video with this thing at some point. How many amps can it do? Probably 40 amps would be my guess. 32 amps actually. Interesting, because NEMA 1450, at least that's what it says, we'll have to try it, can be wired to a 50 amp circuit, which means you can safely pull 40 amps, right? That makes sense. I think that's how that goes. It's 20% lower. So 40 amps on a 50 amp circuit technically, but if this only does 32 amps, that's interesting. The onboard charger of the truck is a 48 amp onboard charger. So we have some testing to do to see if that actually does. And then we also have a charger guide. They have guides for everything. They have people that are guides. They have charger guides. Risk, danger. It's going to explode. Nice. Looks good. I like it. Beautiful charger bag too, by the way. Love this. So let's throw that back in the front trunk. For some reason, people get annoyed if I say frunk. So to close the front trunk, I can either hit the button here, which to me, this is upside down. I don't know why that's the case, but I would think it would go this way. I can just hit the button here as the truck goes by and close the front trunk. By the way, in this video, we've made a post on rivianforums.com, I think is the site, and also on our Twitter. And we asked you guys, what do you want us to test? So we're actually going to run through all of your responses in this video, and we'll show you as much as we can now. And what we can't show you now, we'll let you know if we're going to make a video on it. So we have the 20-inch all-terrain tires, which are pretty sweet wheels and tires. So they're Pirelli all-terrain plus 275 65 R20 Scorpions. I'm just reading it as the circle goes. Interior on this particular one is the black interior with the dark wood. Actually works pretty well, like it. I think I still would go for the ocean interior personally, but this looks pretty nice, feels really well put together. Just everything has a nice high quality touch to it. The wood itself is really like grained. Like, you better be careful not to rub your finger too hard against this surround, because that's legit, which is pretty nice. Has metal pedals down there. All around, you know, this isn't a review of the truck. This is just letting you know it came here. So it all looks pretty good. And let's see, it does not have the camp kitchen, sadly. I was hoping it would, but it doesn't. But it does have, of course, the gear tunnel, which is pretty normal. Let's see if they have anything in here. So there's a little bag in here. Feels like there's stuff in it. Let's see what we have. Oh, sweet. So we have all of our tire pressure situation. And I know you guys have already asked, we'll get to it, but we're going to do a whole video, you know, taking this on trails and an adventure, of course. And part of that is, they even have a bead sealer, which is hilarious. So part of going off-road, of course, is you want to drop the tire pressures, because this is a vehicle that needs to balance range and efficiency. So huge tire pressures. I forget what they told me it was, but it's 48 PSI is for on-road cold tire pressure recommendation. So you're going to be into the 50s when you get some heat into this thing. That's wild. There's an air compressor in the bed over here that we can drop the pressures down to right about 30, 31 PSI they recommended for sort of light trail use. And then if you're in the sand at low speed, about 25 PSI is what they recommended. So we'll bring them down to 25 PSI and then see if the compressor can fill all 4 tires back up to the recommended 48 PSI without overheating, because it can do 1 tire and wheel, but can it do all 4? So we're going to try that out for sure. We have the computer loaded up here just to answer your questions. We asked for the rooftop tent because we're going to be camping with it, although it's going to be snowing this week. So I think we're going to take this thing out to Moab and bring our Sprinter. You guys know we have a Winnebago Revel, which is like one of those 4x4 Sprinter overlanding things, and do a little comparison. And we may even power the Sprinter from the Rivian, because it's just charging our laptop right now, which was so useful, because I pulled my laptop out. I was like, oh, it's at 20%. Plug it into the truck, which was great. We have crossbars on here. We're going to be doing efficiency testing with the crossbars, with the tent, with everything. It has the tonneau cover, which I'm kind of almost a little bit afraid to use, but like, all right, here we go. First time using it. It just feels like I really want to make sure nothing's caught in here, because I feel like if you get a rock or something that goes in there, like, oh, that would be not a good day. So we just need to make sure that the tonneau is clear every time before we use it. And I think for most of our efficiency and range testing, I'll keep the tonneau closed, because that's probably going to give us the best and slipperiest angle. Now, just to be totally transparent, I did ask Rivian to provide us with these wheels, the sport wheels for our performance testing. We're going to shred it on track and on a back road, and the aero wheels for range. And, you know, it's a huge deal that they're already giving us a truck for a week. I mean, there are some massive outlets out there that haven't been able to get more than a few hours with the truck. And here we are, these little out-of-spec idiots over here getting it for a week. So we're so thrilled and thankful to Tanya and the whole Rivian team. They're honestly amazing. Bill and Tanya today, we had a blast with them. They're great. So anyway, we have all-terrain wheels and tires. I could choose one of all 3, and I said, well, this is probably what most people are going to spec, just based off of driving by the Denver Service Center. All of them except for one had these wheels on it. So I'm like, okay, well, that's going to be the most relevant to you guys, because that's the point of why we really wanted the truck. Was a lot of you early reservation holders or people who are just getting your trucks were like, what does it do in this situation, that situation? I've seen a lot of people try and charge it and not charge it correctly and get the max out of it. So that's where we come in with the nerdy stuff. Either way, we're going to take this off and on, which I'm sure is just going to be a giant pain in the butt because it weighs so much. We're going to need like 3 or 4 people. Our Rivian friend said that we could pull it off with 2 people, but I'm not the strongest, so maybe 3. What else do we have around here? Let me show you inside the truck, and then we'll answer some of your questions, of course. So I showed you the interior, but if you open the back seats, this thing has about 1,400 miles on it, I think. We'll check. Pretty fresh vehicle. I've already charged it earlier today. Everything looks pretty nice, have to say. No issues or concerns. This opens up to the gear tunnel. I mean, look, we don't need to do we might do a review if you ask for it of this thing, but it's all about the testing. So, Timon, what do you say we go back to the computer and you ask us what everyone's asked us?
Sounds like a plan, Stan.
This episode is proudly brought to you by Magna. Magna is a mobility technology company that is super unique because they touch every aspect of almost every car on the market, especially a lot of electric vehicles, and they even can produce vehicles from the ground up. Now, you may remember I shot a series just recently testing some of their new electric vehicle powertrains, so stay tuned for a lot of Magna content to come. We're going to be going in depth with some really interesting topics with these guys, and Out of Spec wants to thank Magna for sponsoring this review and tons of other videos to come right here on Out of Spec. We look forward to working with Magna to define and find out what the future of mobility looks like. Guys, we have to shoot this video a little bit out of sequence. We actually already filmed the first few minutes of this and the audio was ruined. So you have to forgive some of the audio later on. Timon behind the camera is going to be asking me questions that you have asked in the Rivian forum. Yes, I know it's time for a haircut. And he's going to be a little bit quiet. So just crank up the volume. We did our best because we're shooting this and uploading it in real time. So let's start going through some of your questions from RivianForums.com, and then Timon will read off some more as well. So let's see. Looks like you'll be spending a lot of time at that EVgo station in Denver, huh? And I guess what we should explain is yes, because that's the closest charger that can deliver 500 amps. And because this vehicle is a 400 volt vehicle, I'll get into that 800 volt situation later on. Because it's a 400 volt vehicle, it can only charge at a maximum of 500 amps theoretically, which would be 200 kilowatts. The EA station by my house is either turned down through software or broken or something, and it can only deliver 350 amps, which is about 145, 150 kilowatts peak, depending on pack voltage on this car. So I will be going to that EA station or EVgo station in Denver for sure. Same one we used with the EQS. Make sure you disclose what software version you're on. Let me show you. Let's jump inside. So you guys hop in over here. I'll jump in on the other side, and we will take a look. So awesome little UI system here. I have to say, really impressed with this software on this car. It's so snappy. To see software, I think we go settings, updates. We're on 2022.07.0, and we can see what's new, I think, right in here. So bird's eye view, trip data, which is perfect for our testing, rear display, and some other things, which is pretty sweet to see. Overall, really impressed with this version, and also Rivian's like put us on notice this car, so like as soon as there's an update available, they're gonna software push it right to us, which is gonna be great. Let's see what else we have. Testing out Alexa and what it can do with climate controls, and to get range tests based on the mode you're in. So these are all the different drive modes, of course: all-purpose, sport, conserve, off-road. Within off-road, there's a whole bunch, and towing, and all the different suspension heights. We're going to do all the efficiency testing with all of these. Of course, you guys know us. That's what we're going to do. Can't wait for that. But let me show you what Alexa can do. So let's close the doors here. If I go to apps, Alexa, I've already turned her on. I haven't signed in because I don't have an Amazon account that works, I don't think. But anyway, let me at least show you this. I figured out some things she can do. Alexa, set the temperature to 72 degrees. Alexa, set the temperature to 80 degrees.
Okay.
Alexa, set the temperature to 70 degrees.
Okay.
Wow, she's pretty good. Alexa, navigate to Laramie, Wyoming.
Sorry, I'm not sure how to handle
She says she can't figure out how to navigate.
Yeah, earlier I said navigate to Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and it did it. So
Yeah, it was navigating just fine earlier, so that's weird. Maybe because we have a navigation in?
possibly.
All right, so let's try it now. Resume trip to Chapel Hill, so I can see it did that. Alexa, navigate to Laramie, Wyoming.
Sorry, I'm not sure how to handle that.
She's got connection. I don't know, she did that before. She couldn't figure out how to put the heat seaters on. Alexa, turn the fan down.
Okay.
That worked. Went down a couple notches. What else should we ask her?
Alexa, open the front trunk.
Okay.
Wow, that's cool.
Alexa, close the front trunk.
Alexa, close the front trunk.
Okay.
Alexa, turn up the volume. Yeah, and she did. Alexa, turn down the volume. This is the best in-car voice stuff I've ever heard. But I don't know why it's not navigating us right now, to be honest. Isn't that a little weird, Timon? It was doing it just fine earlier. Alexa, navigate to Denver, Colorado.
Getting directions to Denver, Colorado.
Doesn't like Wyoming. And there you go. Alexa, navigate to Laramie, Wyoming.
Getting directions to Laramie, Wyoming.
Now she likes Laramie. Great. Beautiful drive up if you haven't done that before. So there's all the Alexa stuff. Can we say, Alexa, put the driver's seat position to someone who's 4'7"? Good luck.
I don't have an answer for that.
No, she doesn't know how to do that one. I was hoping I could just stuff Timon into the dash. All right, let's go see what else we got.
Okay, someone was wondering how the road noise is on these tires.
Yeah, me too. So we have a decibel meter, and we'll find out. And we'll also compare it. One thing we should say, I don't know where it is. It's parked up front?
Yes.
Yeah, we have an F-150 hybrid this week to compare this to. And we also have, of course, our Tesla. So I want to do all the driver assistance between Blue Cruise and this. I can already tell you driving this up, the driver assistance thing worked like 3 miles out of the whole 60-mile trip.
And someone also asked...
It has to be pre-mapped, that's why.
The road noise compared to this and your Model 3.
Well, my Model 3 is not a good comparison, but we'll use Drew's brand new Model 3, I guess, if that works, because he has a 2022, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and mine's just been, not a good example.
Someone wants to know what the turn signals sound like, cup holder sizes, and interior lighting at night.
Well, we can't show you the interior lighting at night right now. I will, because we'll be working with this at night. I just set the brightness to full for that. What does the turn signal sound like? It's weird. I was listening to it earlier, and I'm not sure I really like it. Hit the hazards up top. Yeah, and I'll put my mic right on the speaker. Running around now to show you the cup holders. This is the only drink that matters. The Trenta Strawberry Acai with light ice, no water, no inclusions, but still shaken. Does fit. And it fits quite nicely. I ripped this thing around some off-ramps on the way over here, and it was just like holding on for dear life and didn't care. At first, I was like, where are the dang cup holders in this thing? Well, right here. And I would just leave that out all the time. Honestly, I wish this was a little bit less flimsy in my opinion, and so it's not bad, but I think it could use some work. Here's your camp speaker. We have a whole in-depth review coming on that. Jordan, one of our colleagues, is like obsessed with that thing, and he's gonna like test the sound output and the bass against other small speakers.
While we're here,
yeah, what's up?
show us Spotify.
Oh yeah,
Someone was
Spotify is
asking about
pretty
that.
sweet. So you go here to music, and then you have your Spotify tab on the left, and then if you go home, so I can log into my own Spotify, which I'll do. We have pretty poor cell reception here, so I think it's just trying to browse. I don't know. Anyway, it's just like normal Spotify. And Rivian has their own playlist. See if you can do this outside of the Rivian, because there's some great songs on here. We were jamming out to the live recording of Hotel California, and it was pretty good on the Meridian. Oddly, the Meridian sound system only goes to 30. Why would you choose 30 as your maximum number for a sound
It should be
system?
like 50. That's like a nice...
100.
Or that.
Yeah, it should just be 100. 10 or 100. I don't know. That 30 thing is weird. What else we got, Timon?
We're on to the next page.
Oh, we have 10 pages of responses from the
hold
Rivian
on.
forums.
Someone asked to see, like, driving through Colorado, including mountain passes, how far can it basically go doing that?
We will have road trips on our sister channel, Out of Spec Motoring, all across Colorado and other states.
Love to hear it. Okay, now we go.
I don't know how many miles we're going to put on this thing in a week, but it's going to be a lot. Basically, I don't plan to sleep this week. I'm going to be powered by Red Bull, and everyone else is too, and we're just going to do everything we can in 7 days with this truck.
What do you think of audio quality?
Oh, audio quality is great. Really good. I wouldn't say it's the best I've ever heard, obviously. I mean, like, there's some crazy, like, 2,400 watt Meridian in the full-size Range Rover or the Bentley name system that's better. But for a pickup truck, I just got out of the F-150. We drove that down to pick this up, which has the Bang & Olufsen sound system. This smokes it. Smokes it. It's so good. But I will say the Bluetooth quality isn't so great, obviously. But when you use the Spotify built-in, it sounded stellar.
Wonderful.
I also have, like, the bass boosted on my Spotify on my phone. And so it just, if I reset the EQ on that, this car also has some EQ stuff. Let me show you, because I thought they did a really good job with this sound system design in here. I've never heard a truck that sounds this good, but I did have it at like 28, 29, or 30 because I listen to music where my ears bleed the whole time. The bass, and I think it might be the way the seatbelt is laying in the second row, it makes a chirping noise.
Subwoofer is under the passenger rear seat.
Yep, and that's interesting because I hear the squeak from the driver's side door, and it could just be that I was sitting on the driver's side. But if I go here to this menu, you can see there's different EQ settings, so you can do like default, whatever. I thought rock sounded the best for me. I always like a little bit of this V. And then interesting, you have a sound stage focus, which basically puts it from the center of the car towards the driver. So I think when I had Jordan in the car, we drove for a little bit, it sounded best to both of us when we put it towards the screen. But it also, when you reset it, it wants to default to like here being the center stage focus. So I'm not sure if this is right or left and the visuals aren't lining up, but it seemed to me that this sounded pretty good. There's also 3D sound. We're going to do a whole in-depth like video just on the infotainment, but
Because that was another question, is to do a screen by screen basically.
yeah, we'll do that.
Settings.
Yeah, we'll go through every single thing we can find. We'll do that. But I thought that the 3D surround on or enhanced was good. It did do a little bit more 3D rear than I was hoping for, but it's a great sound system and not much to complain about here, really, at all. What else we got? Running around.
Let's see.
Screen by screen comparison, there's that. Yep,
And your
we'll do that.
overall EA experience like you did with the Mach-E.
Well, I say I went to EA today. I don't know if this has plug-in charge. I need to look. I don't think it does. And Rivian has like no free charging program with EA. But I went there, I plugged in at 2%. Because I was like, if it's not going to work, I'd rather it not work on day one.
Right, exactly. Because he says he's leaving the supercharger network and is a bit nervous.
Oh, yeah. I don't really worry about getting to EA stations anymore about like not charging. What I do worry about is not charging at the maximum 500 amps, which would be 200 kilowatts in this. I've never seen anyone hit 200 kilowatts in a Rivian. I don't know if that's because EA's limited a lot of their chargers to 350 amps, which is at least the one local to us is, or if that's because the truck can't actually do 200, but I'll find out hopefully tonight.
Someone asked if you can, since we're in Colorado, start in Fort Collins, Loveland with 100% state of charge and then head to Frisco, Vail, or Glenwood to see.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really unique use case just for our area. And I don't think I'm actually going to be heading out that way. Because I think from Moab, I'm going to dip down to Arizona and then go over to Moab first.
But it would be
But I'll come
halfway
back.
on the return, you'd kind of do that.
Yeah, but then it's all downhill, so it's not that useful.
Yeah.
Either way, I wouldn't worry about getting around Colorado in this thing. I think we have plenty of chargers, like zero concern at all. What I really want to do is like low speed trail driving and log the efficiency of that kind of stuff.
I'd be curious how it performed on the...
How it what?
How it performed.
On what?
Conserve mode?
In conserve mode.
On the highway versus on and off.
Well, I can already tell you, conserve mode basically shuts the rear motors off. You nail it. The front motors, you can really hear them too. And they do its best. And it would only do, well, the adaptive cruise only went to 85. I don't know if that's normal or not, but I drove it in conserve the whole way. I think I heard that's all it'll do. But it was comfortable. It had plenty of power in conserve mode. I will say it's a little torque steery, and I like went around an on-ramp in conserve and matted the throttle on corner exit, and yeah, it was like just traction control.
Someone wants to know how it handles the thermals handle
During what?
canyon driving.
Oh,
Canyon
we'll do
roads.
that.
Yeah, so
I'll have a
that'll be
whole
tested.
performance driving review of it. Probably, maybe on track, but definitely on canyon roads.
I think one pedal driving on snow and ice would be nice to know what it is like.
Huh. So yeah, I guess the reason for asking how the one pedal does on snow and ice, I'll at least let you know how one pedal works. So come around with me to the cab real quick and I'll give you an idea of what that means. So there's a few different levels of regen in the car. Hop in, I'll go to the other side, I guess, and I'll show you this. And I guess what is really important to know is how does regen handle on slippery surfaces? And I don't know yet, but I'll find out. Oh, you can't change it when it's in regen, but basically you have different levels of brake regen here. And I will say it's very strong regen. I'm going to try and Siri, what I'm going to try and do is hook up the OBD scanner. Actually, I have it plugged in. I have that phone upstairs, and see if we can pull any data off of this car or not. Hopefully we can, because then we can know how much regen it does, and we can try regen through ABS, which is going to be really important on slippery surfaces to see if in an emergency scenario, which isn't so important to recapture energy, but on a constant downhill on snow, mud, ice, whatever, you do want to have regen going back into the battery pack. And as far as I'm aware, the only cars that can do that are the Taycan and the Model 3 and EQS are the only cars that I can think of off the top of my head that can regen while friction brakes are doing ABS. So we'll find out. We'll try it. It should snow tonight, right, Timon?
I think so. I don't know how much we're getting, but
I don't know. Jordan said 5 to 15 inches.
well, Jordan's
Jordan's not our local weatherman.
yeah.
What else you got?
So if you can confirm with them that they
What?
have a 800 volt.
Oh yeah, I
charging
talked to them
switch.
about this. So this is an interesting scenario. I guess Car and Driver and someone else or Motor Trend reported that 800 volt charging will come into the future. I asked a Rivian Tech and our friends in PR, like, will this truck have a software updatable 400 to 800 volt booster or switch to allow for faster charging? So you see the problem when you plug into a CCS charger today, which is, for some, we might have some viewers who may not be as nerdy. So let me show you. When you plug into a CCS charger, which is the DC fast charging standard, we use CCS1 here in the US. So let me unplug this really quick. This is CCS, this whole thing. These two pins are the DC pins. When you plug into the DC pins, there is a standard limitation of 500 amps. Now, there are ways around it where Rivian's Adventure Network could, in theory, go over 500 amps. Tesla goes over 500 amps with their CCS cars in Europe, but that's no surprise. Tesla likes pushing the boundaries a little bit. So at least what they told me was this truck, as it sits, will not have a switch, can't be software updated. The hardware is not in it to go 400 to 800 volt booster, which is kind of a bummer because like Hummer EV and Silverado EV, basically they didn't want to develop the subcomponents of the vehicle with 800 volt stuff because it's more expensive. You can't buy everything off the shelf. And I thought they had a pretty ingenious solution where you can plug into a 800 volt charger. It goes ka-chunk, does a series parallel switcheroo back and forth. It'll bump the voltage up to an 800 volt class of voltage. And then, you know, for that 500 amp limitation, you can do 350 kilowatts instead of 200 kilowatts at 400 volts. So I don't know, we'll see if Rivian will do that in the future, but at least what they're telling me with this truck, no, it will not boost or have a switch.
So we got a question about the backup cameras and other cameras, because when he did the first mile event or the first mile drive, he was concerned at the time how they looked.
Okay, yeah, totally agree. The cameras were terrible back then. They were so glitchy. You weren't in it, but Jordan and Drew were with me. And like we're like, what is up with the cameras? And while the quality may not be amazing, they at least are super smooth. We'll show that in some of our driving footage. Actually, should we just show them now?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me close up the bed. We'll just throw this in here and drive around it a mile an hour. Good luck. And you want to hop in the passenger side, Timon?
Sure.
Let me unplug us, and then we'll show the cameras. So unplugged, and I think you can actually here. Come take a look at this. Let's try this. I think you can close the charging port with the DC flap open. Let's see. That's the road trip hack.
Nice. That's so nice.
That is lovely. All right, so that's the road trip hack. Let's go try the cameras on this thing. One thing I love about this vehicle, which they totally got 100% correct, is I can just get in, foot on the brake, into drive, and start going. It's just like the Tesla. I could just get in and boom. It makes the same chime as the Tesla too. So here's the reversing camera. You can see the lines change. That's a little, the lines themselves are a little glitchier.
You can kind of see the pixels, but it's not.
I would say that's fine. Now you have the new 360 degree view camera, of course. So I hit this rear view. So you can have, oh, and then you can, oh, these are the side views. So that's out the back. And then this is front view. And then the front wheels. Yeah. So let's, oh wait, we're in reverse. Let's go. Wait, how do we pull it up going forwards though? There's got to be a way. This one,
change your setting to
cameras. There we go. So you can see the resolution isn't stunning.
Yeah, it's kind of pixelated.
Yeah, I mean, like they could have
You
just
can still see.
It's like iPhone 3G camera on the front.
I wouldn't say that's that bad.
You could definitely just drive around looking at the screen though, like Gran Turismo.
Right.
It seems to be pretty responsive. Let's go in reverse. How fast can it go backwards? Really freaking fast, apparently.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have to do a reverse top speed test out on the runway later this week. So let's back it in. We'll get it charging. Throw it back on the, as my dad would say, throw it back on the hook. I don't know why he says that, but
I've never heard that before.
yeah, I've heard some commenters comment it too. I don't get it. And then you don't have to shut anything off getting out. You just get out. It's wonderful. Okay, so let's plug her back in and we'll go through some more questions. You want to queue up some questions while I juice her in?
Yep.
All right. Plugged in. Oh, I forgot my laptop was back there when I nailed it in reverse.
Someone would like to see a rundown through the phone app and its features.
Wish we could, but maybe before we drop this off, I think if we can find someone at the service center, they said
That has access
Chad, someone named Chad owns a truck, which is the truck TFL used, I think, his truck, and he said he could show us the app.
So we'll try.
We'll try.
Pull codes with OBD2 dongle for battery temps.
Already working on it. Don't know if it's going to be possible. It might just be like a Mercedes where you can't pull any data off of
They'd
it.
like to see someone review the ADAS and Driver Plus system.
We're going to do all the driver assistance stuff versus Blue Cruise versus autopilot on the highway.
Oh, that's exactly what they were asking.
Well, we'll do it. Great.
On to the next page.
Next page. Show everyone. We got 3 pages. We got 10 pages of this. Awesome. So the thing is, normally when we review a car, right, we don't go out there on forums and say, what do you want to see? We just do our usual stuff. But this is such an exciting vehicle, and there's so many unanswered questions about it that I'm like, this is the perfect place for us to answer everyone's questions during our week of it.
Yeah, it seems like the most common question is charging curve,
Yeah.
range, and then comparing it to like your Model 3
That's such a weird comparison, though. Maybe it's just because a lot of people have been in Model 3s.
or roughly same price for like a good spec Model.
No,
or, like,
this is like 30 grand more.
But for like fully maxed out Y, isn't it like 80?
70. Yeah, I don't know. That's such a weird comparison to me. And my Model 3 is not a good one to use because it can't be replicated. So we'd have to use a brand new one, which we could use Drew's car. What else we got? Yeah, so they're asking about the CPE 250 units, I guess. The charge point ones there. I'll do a charging curve with one of those. Because they have them in Moab.
Fit in my garage in Golden. Just kidding.
Why are you just kidding? Let's go find out.
I think the average.
We'll do a whole video. Does it fit in this guy's
the
garage?
average garage is 7.5.
Is not this big.
Yeah, it's not this big. It's 7.5.
Should we show everyone the workspace really quick?
Yeah.
Come take a look. The lights, the reason we're not filming in here is because we need to figure out how to fix these lights. Is it going
it's
crazy?
kinda just-
Yeah, but I think we're going to put the Rivian up here. We just actually need to make sure this can support the Rivian.
Yeah, I think it's an 8 or 4 ton.
We're going to like triple check before we do this. And I heard you might need pucks to load the Rivian up on a lift.
I wasn't told that, so.
Well,
I said I would read through the owner's manual before I jacked it up.
okay, so you better do that. Because that's normally what you tell me, and then you never look and things get broken.
Tesla's so easy.
Yeah, okay. Well, you know.
I'd like to see this power thing be actually used, but it sounds like it doesn't close that nicely when we just closed it.
It just doesn't make a good, I would say this is one of the weakest points of the truck, is this tonneau cover. You hear that?
Yeah, it kind of just sounds,
It sounds like this should be like a day one prototype hand
yeah,
build.
exactly. I mean, I think it's a cool idea, but
Yeah.
poorly executed.
I don't know. It hasn't broken on us in our
Yeah.
experience, and I don't know
I
personally
just
if any
think
of
the
that
noise
have.
is just
It just doesn't give the feeling of confidence,
Yeah.
does it? And so now it's a $3,000 option
to get rid of it or add it.
to add it. Don't let Kyle drive your R1T. What? Yeah, don't let me drive yours. Unless you want it back with no tires and brakes. Another Grand Junction, Colorado thing. Oh, someone did one. It was no problem. That's what I was going to say. It's no problem to drive across
It
Colorado.
doesn't- I mean, we did everything in a Taycan, and it was pretty self-explanatory.
I mean, charging is not even an issue anymore.
Yeah.
It is for a lot of new people, but like once you do it once or twice, you're like, oh,
just plug in and you just like hang out for
it's
10 minutes.
no problem. Yeah. Yeah, if Timon's saying charging's not an issue, then you know it's really not an
Yeah,
issue.
it's so easy now. How is algorithm, traffic integration, and ETA estimates.
Amazing. I have to say, just driving up here, it routed me to the EA station. It told me exactly what I was going to get there with, how long I would have to charge here to get up here to the office. And it was instant, responsive. The map screen was wonderful. And you'll be seeing a lot more of that in out-of-spec motoring road trips to come. Really, really loved the route planning in this so far.
Maybe drain it to 0% and tow charge it?
That could be an interesting one.
Do we have any vehicle that can tow 7,000 pounds?
The F-150.
Oh, true.
That would be a bad thumbnail, though, is to see an F-150 hybrid towing the Rivian.
Yeah,
that wouldn't look great, but it would be for science. So, yeah, I don't know. Biggie asks, hi, Kyle. Very excited you're getting your hands on an R1T. Ditto to what others have mentioned. Hopefully we've answered some of those so far. Can you get some final confirmation on which plates the off-road package truly adds? How much do they add in weight and reduce payload? One of the problems with trucks, of course, electric trucks, is you need a lot of batteries to haul them around, which means the more weight the vehicle has inherently, the less you can put in the vehicle, which is payload. Payload is capacity in the cab and the bed. And they said, we've all seen the payload is 1,419 pounds, but Rivian claims 1,760 pounds. So how much of this 341 pounds is off-road versus upgrades? Well, certainly some of it is going to be equipment. And like this counts as payload right here. I don't have the answer as to which exact plates it has. I know this truck has all the off-roading plates. It's got the recovery hooks up front, and it has some plates. Perhaps I will reach out to Rivian and get us more info on that, and maybe we'll even do a video on what every option gets you in the Rivian. I just don't know which ones are added.
See, I got 90% of that question.
Yeah, you got 90% of it. And let's see what else we have. Here we go. Ready for some big ones? Phantom power drain with and without gear guard on. Well, the problem is this truck's not really going to be sitting around much. We're really going to be driving it. We do have to sleep sometimes. So what I'll do is I'll do my best to log the percentage that I leave the truck at in a period of time after, but also there's other factors that go into this drain, such as the battery getting cold overnight if we have cold temperatures, which could indicate less usable capacity. So it's a tough one to actually really test for in only a week. Maybe we'll just leave it in the garage here in a temperature controlled room. That might,
like a bad idea.
Yeah.
Because our garage currently has my Lexus dead in it.
Oh gosh, I forgot about that. my garage is filled with your broken car. Okay, so 12 volt battery system. Can you see those batteries and describe them? Let's go take a look. I asked the Rivian guys, where are they? And I also asked them some of the hard reset procedures for this. So they have a soft reset, which is on the something with the steering wheel. I have the instructions somewhere. And then under here should be, hold on.
Cabling.
Yeah, here, let's go. Let's start ripping stuff off here. Sorry, Rivian. Come on. This should just pop off, right? Yeah, it does. Let me get the other side. Sounds like New York over here with people honking. Nice. So let's start pulling this thing open. It's a little bit difficult to get off, but it's just tabs. And you just want to lift straight up on them, like something like that.
Move it out of the way.
Okay, so what can we see? Well, we see lots of connectors.
Yeah.
We see an air filter. Not a very large air filter there. Perhaps maybe an AC compressor or a chiller over here. They said the 12 volt battery. So here's the fireman's loop, which you got to disconnect, which will pull all the high voltage out. And then I can see the 12 volt connections here. Apparently there's two 12 volt batteries. And do not follow this as guidance because I don't want to wreck someone's Rivian. And this,
it just gets bricked.
It just gets bricked. But my understanding is roughly, and please don't do this to your own truck because I'm not a trained technician on this. You pull the fireman's loop, cuts the high voltage, then you pull the two negative cables of the 12 volt system to like shut everything down, give it a few minutes to let the capacitors drain for a hard reset. Then you have to reconnect the fireman's loop first, and then connect both 12 volt batteries at the same time. Again, don't do this. They said the truck's going to throw a whole bunch of fault codes. You'll probably have to bring it into service or something like that. I don't know. Just telling you all the info I know.
So just don't do it.
I just don't want Rivian to call me and say, you just broke 70 trucks because people tried to do what you said. Well, it's like, just don't do what I said. So we'll close this all up. And you can see these little tabs that just go in. It's pretty standard. And nice and easy air filter to get to here, at least for your cabin. So we'll just push all this down, I think is how this will work. Something. Yep.
Quick It's
All right,
here.
we'll do all that later. What else? We trip daily extended charge settings. How do these really work? Well, okay, we'll explain all that later. Yeah, so the truck recommends a 70% daily charging limit. I think that's great. 85% for like longer trips, and 100% if you really need to. All right, Subaru Outback has Eyesight. Yeah, every system is going to be affected by weather. We'll do that when we get into the stuff. Okay. I think most of the other stuff we've kind of touched on. Do I see evidence of rock chips in the paint windshield cracks? Well, again, it would...
I mean, it's the same as any other truck would be. It's if it happens, it happens. You can't really avoid
Wait,
it.
they didn't tell you about how this thing's immune to rock chips?
No way.
Yeah, it's not possible. Like, it's got this force field.
That's
and
why
anything that comes up... There's probably someone who believed that. We're totally joking. Can you explore what fits in an extra space, like coolers and stuff? Not really. I don't...
You could fit 10 normal coolers.
Should we show them the underfloor storage thing here? So let me move, just pull that power cable out of the way. There's a little latch over here on the left, and that opens up where the spare tire would be, or extra storage. I mean, like, put whatever you want in there, right?
70 beers in here.
This looks like you can just rip it out.
Yeah, you could throw some ice in plenty of cases.
And then this, to close it, you have to, like, slam it. And then there's a front trunk, and there's the gear tunnel that everyone knows about that we don't have to show for the millionth time.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can throw a lot of extra stuff in here.
Great. Can you confirm 800 volt charging switch? We went through that. How fast can you drive in reverse? We're going to find out. Because right now, what is it? The Chevy Bolt lets you do like 50 miles an hour backwards. EQS goes like wide open, lays a huge reverse burnout.
Like 23 miles an hour?
30.
Oh.
Yeah, because if you go past the kick, so EQS is to the kick down switch is like 20, 23. But if you go past the kick down switch, it's like full reverse power till it hits 30, and then everything faults out. It's like, this is broken, that's broken, please return me back to Klaus in Germany. Okay, how fast can you drive reverse, and how long does it take to fill the tires? We're going to do that. We'll see with the onboard air compressor here. Pulling a trailer in its range. Do you think we're really going to get a Rivian R1T and not pull a trailer? That's, of course, what we're going to do. And we're going to do, like, aero, and we got to, like, find some trailers. Okay. I want to buy a trailer. I want to buy the standard out-of-spec trailer. So if you have a recommendation, it has to tow a car. So it needs to be at least 22 feet. Something like that. Let us know. Yeah. I found some really cool ones online, but they're obviously all back-ordered. Deep dive on charging, UI, UX. We'll do all that. Rivian customer service said the glass roof would get darker in direct sunlight. No, it is a fixed tint on the glass roof. I did ask them that. And should we show everyone how dark it is? It's pretty dark. I mean, it was sunny earlier when we got this thing, and it's dark. No concerns about burning a head. Okay. Range changes much with payload. Yeah, we're going to go through all that stuff. I do have a 22-foot trailer. Oh, sweet. Okay, maybe we'll borrow his. Yep. Tire pressure test. We're going to do all that. Removal of the frunk. I think I already removed enough before Rivian starts asking for this thing back. We're not reverse engineers here. How hard is it going to be to add a winch and rear tire carrier? That could be possible.
Rear tire carrier, I really think it's just based on aftermarket for rear bumpers.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do it through the hitch.
Yeah.
And a winch, I've seen we have to take a front bumper off to actually see, but I feel like there's plenty of space.
Well, there's two ways to take the front bumper off.
You send it off-road, or you
send it off-road, or do it properly.
properly.
So maybe that will just happen magically. I hope not. Our goal is not to damage this truck, but you just never know. Can you get the 22-inch wheels? No, I asked. Stop and go traffic with ADAS. Don't worry, we're going to do all that. What is the largest Yeti cooler you can fit in the frunk, gear tunnel, and bed?
We don't own any Yeti coolers.
We don't own any Yeti coolers. And so is it worth it really for us to... Anyone could just bring a whole bunch of Yeti coolers to a service center and make a video. That might not be a bad idea. I don't know. We just have limited things we can do. Spotify buffer when out of cell range. Yeah, I'll mention that. Is there an setting that automatically lowers the suspension all the way down when parked? I don't believe so. At least I didn't see one in there.
I think there will be. I spoke to Bill.
Yeah.
And he said...
Allegedly.
He said there's going to be a setting that it lowers even farther than the current's lowest for shorter people. And allegedly auto leveling for off-road camping.
That would be the coolest freaking thing. Do you know how annoying it is every time I park the
I was
Sprinter off-road
explaining that.
and I'm like falling out of my bed? Wow, that would be amazing. Okay, that's the one feature I really want is an auto level. Because you know how many, like we have to buy those blocks for the Sprinter and then drive it up, and it has no torque at high altitude, so it can't even get on the blocks. And it's like, oh my God. Okay, is the vehicle ready to drive? I showed you, you can just get in and throw it in drive and nail it. Yeah, how long does it take for the rear view camera to pop up instantly? What is the range as phone as a key? We won't be able to test that, unfortunately. Really, really wanted to get the phone app for this, but it's not possible. We're going to test the climate, like dog mode situation. I think Alyssa has like a whole temperature monitoring test she wants to start running EVs through. Okay, cool. Gravel road range test? Hell yes. We'll bring it out to the grasslands for the loop. Yeah, we're basically, my plan is to produce a video on like every single mode and suspension height in the same loop, and then other variables such as roof rack on the bed, roof rack on the roof, tent on the back. I'll do that one first because we don't have to put it back on. Yeah. And yeah, kind of going back and forth. There's a lot of variables when we do that, and you really do need to do it over some good distance, you know, probably 20, 30 miles for a loop to average everything out at a constant speed, same start and end point. But then it's like if the battery's at a lower voltage, at lower state of charge, then it has to run more current, which could lead to a little bit more heat loss. So I was thinking maybe I'll charge it up in between each one, but that's just going to take me like 3 days just to do that test. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll get a good idea at least. All right, here we go. What else do we have? Road noise. Yep, we're going to do that. How much recovery on regen? I was thinking we would drive it up Pikes Peak, but the problem is we're getting hammered with snow. Phone is a key test. Sorry, we won't be able to do that. Compare all purpose to conserve mode. Here's all the efficiency testing I explained we're going to do. Let's see what we have. This is kind of a weird one. Oh, I like it. I don't know what it is going to say yet. I did a mountain canyon route in my Mini for kicks. Wound up being 95 miles total starting near Golden and going up to 10,000 feet and to get you back. And basically, he said that he didn't really gain anything on the way down, but he stayed at about the same. And that's normally what I find on back roads. Okay, cool. That's our friend Aaron, by the way. He's coming on Friday. We're drag racing this against the Mini Cooper SE. That'll be kind of fun. Yeah, a lot of regen questions. Don't worry, we're going to go into all of that. What if you do lock it? Is there a way to keep heat and AC running? Yep, we're going to look. I don't know, but I hope so, because like a lot of people bring their dogs places. I'm going to probably bring those dogs places in this and do some things with them. That'll be fun. More towing questions. Let's see, 800 volt, not a thing. Sorry, at least not on this truck. Oh, someone says you can do AC with the phone app, but we don't have the phone app.
Yep, so we won't be able to test that.
So we won't be able to test that. Gosh, we really need the phone app for the... If someone at Rivian's watching, please get us the login. We need it. Okay. There's got to be just a login.
We won't steal it.
We won't steal it, maybe. Okay, yep, so everyone's asking about this 800 to 400 volt thing. Again, at least from what we heard today from very knowledgeable people inside the company, it's not possible to do a 400 to 800 volt switch. Someone's posted screenshots of the app in here, which is sweet. Wow, a lot of questions on leaving AC on if you're not in there. That's amazing. When can you use auto steer? It's only on roads that are pre-mapped. So like I-25, both the Blue Cruise and the F-150 and this, you can't use auto steer. Well, you can use auto steer in the Blue Cruise because it lets you do Copilot 360, but you have to touch the wheel. This is just like adaptive cruise and good luck steering. Which is kind of a bummer. I really wish this would like resort to just standard auto steer and then, you know, when there is a pre-mapped road. Because I use autopilot like everywhere.
Every time.
Which maybe...
he complains to me when I don't use it.
I just think it's fun to test out what it can and can't do, but like pay attention, keep your hands on the wheel. But obviously there's a lot of risk if that's the case. And it's not on any divided highway. It's only on pre-mapped, it seems to be at least. And again, we'll go more in depth. Like I've only driven it, 50, 60 miles so far. Auto steer, yeah, makes you touch. So I did try auto steer. I had it on I-70, and it does make you touch the steering wheel every period of
Certain amount
time.
of time.
Yeah, and it's just a little jiggle. Okay, and it's not capacitive. It does require torque into the wheel. Oh my goodness, look at this. We got 15 questions from Sasquatch. All right, are you ready? How much adjustment up and down the steering wheel has? I'm bringing the laptop inside for this. Let's do it. Okay, here we go. This close. So to get to steering wheel adjustments, I got to go to settings, vehicle, access, right? Oh wait, this is settings. I think I got to go here to access. Okay, adjust steering wheel. So he wants to know how much up and down the steering wheel offers. So that's in and out. Up and down is... So this is all the way down. Seems good. Wait, we're charging, right? Power steering's on while charging. I've never experienced that before. Go up faster. It's going up in stages. You see that?
Yeah. You just need an air compressor.
It's like just go max. And that's full height. That's pretty good adjustment. Just takes forever.
Yeah, I'd say about.
It's just so laggy. Like, come on, go down. Whatever. You just set it up once and then you have a driver profile. And then up and down and telescoping. Okay, so this is it farting. That's all the way in. Maybe I need to be slower. Wait.
Did you break it?
Nope.
Is that as far
That's
as it
all the
goes?
way out.
And it just farts every time you.
Wait, so maybe it goes in farther then. Yeah, it goes in farther. So that's all the way in. Not that much in and out.
No,
I
but
kind of wish it came out a little bit more.
do you have pedal adjustment in this?
I don't think so. No pedal adjustment that I can see. Yep.
How do you feel your seating position
Oh, wait.
is in
It
this?
just maybe it just needed to think about life for a second.
Yeah, I think so, because this is way farther out than it was.
Yeah.
Just
Okay, so that's acceptable. I would just say this control logic for this is a little slower than like the Tesla's like. Zzz, zzz, zzz.
yeah.
All right. There's number one. Can you get your knees behind the steering wheel while driving? Yes. And my height is 6'1". My inseam, I have no idea. Why do you care? Don't ask personal questions here. Can you adjust the seat to the point where your visibility isn't compromised by seeing too much of the top of the windshield? Yeah, the top of the windshield's no problem. What's the problem is when you have the tent. Look behind you, Timon. You can't see anything out the back.
Do you like your seating position in this compared to?
It sits a little too high for me. It's very Range Rover-like, though, where I feel like I'm on top of it. And I got used to it, yes, and I guess thinking of it from a Range Rover sense, but I do wish I could go like
an inch lower.
8 inches lower.
Oh.
Like I like to sit on the
Right.
ground. And it's got such great handling. Like I kind of want to drive this hard, which is not, again, its intended purpose, but it actually rips.
Yeah,
and I
saw
wish...
you tripping some tires.
I know, I was ripping
Allegedly.
it. Allegedly ripping some tires. Okay. Can you adjust the seat? Did that. All the way to its most rearward position. Can you sit comfortably behind yourself? I feel like I'm
No.
going to squish my bag. Absolutely not. Okay.
But for the average American, is not over 6'5".
I mean, I'm 6'1". My dad's 6'5", and like I know I could fit behind him.
Yeah.
How much headroom do you have in the rear seat? I'll look here in a second. How much hood do you see in your field of view that impacts your visibility? Well, you see the entire hood, but
Since
it's
up.
yeah. Well, I mean, when it's down, and it's totally fine. I think it's great, and I'll have we'll produce some point of view driving videos with this as well, so you'll get a really good. It's a brand new channel. It's called POV Motoring. We haven't told anyone about this yet, but we're gonna do some like point of view driving stuff.
As long as your hand movements aren't that.
Yeah, Timon doesn't like it when I shuffle the wheel. What else do we have? How much force does it take to lift and close the tailgate?
It opens by itself.
How much, wait, should we say if your tester has the Ocean Coast interior, it doesn't. So we don't know how the seats will wear.
Yeah.
But I imagine pretty good. Just got to stay on top of it like normal leather maintenance. Okay, so how much force does it take? I don't have an actual Newton meter calculator on me. But quite a bit, actually. And it feels a little crunchy opening and closing it, doesn't it?
Open it like this, which does it automatically.
Yeah, and that's
But
because there's a damper on that left side. See that little spring?
Yep.
The strut, I should say.
But I would say it's heavier than a Tacoma.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beefy tailgate,
Yeah,
but there's
it's also-
nothing.
You have an integrated taillight, which doesn't help either.
Right, and you got this giant Rivian badge.
Yeah, that's 20 pounds right there.
Yeah, just take that off, you'll get another 10 miles of range.
Yeah.
Again, joking. I know someone's going to be like, well, Kyle said, and then everyone's going to take their Rivian badges off. Okay, any squeaks or rattles during our drives? Well, just on the way up here, yeah, I actually did hear some, and I'm trying to pinpoint exactly what it is. I think a lot of it might be the tent, honestly, and just this flapping in the wind. So,
Turn your speakers all the way up.
well, yeah, with the Meridian at like 28,
You're good.
you don't have to worry about anything. Does it have park assist and maneuver the car? I don't know. We'll find out. Yes, we have. We already showed you the quality of video. Yeah, in conserve mode on the highway, the ride quality is worse than normal. And that's because you have basically the suspension aired all the way out. So there's not much travel and it gets a little bouncy. Like it's a kind of a note, like
Stance Nation.
you only would use conserve if you like have to make it to the charger. For me, I would just drive it in and eat the extra juice. No, sport's pretty rough actually. I just think general all-purpose mode's pretty good. Can you do a range test and conserve? Yes. How comfortable would you rate the seating position of the gear guard tunneled door, especially from the perspective of a taller person? Let's find out. We can look. Button. I like how this doesn't fold all the way down.
It doesn't just hit you.
It doesn't just like, yeah, because inside you can hit this button, but now actually it won't release.
Oh.
Maybe I didn't open it in a short enough period of time.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, that's something to pay attention to. This also, I have to say, is a bit of a sharp edge on both sides.
Yeah, you
and I
just walk right into this.
Yeah, that would
line.
really freaking hurt. So, how's the seating position? Wonderful. Wow. This is where I'm going to sit all week.
New office.
I'm just doing it. I'm sitting here all week. Okay. Great. From a taller person. I would say I'm average height. I don't know. What is the average height of a person in
I
the
think
U.S.?
in the U.S. it's like 5'10",
So I'm
5'8".
slightly over average, 6'1". Okay, we got some testing here. Jump test, hell yeah. That's the last thing we do. We always go least abusive to most abusive with testing. Looking forward to charge curve analysis. Me too. I've yet to see this thing on a 500 amp charger with a warm battery pack, and you betcha we'll be doing it. All right, come on, Wi-Fi, let's go. Can you measure the turning radius, 3-point turns, U-turns? I already say it's really nimble compared to that F-150 getting it around. The F-150 is like a boat to park.
We can do it Friday after we do everything. We can just.
We'll have the
compare it
video
to-
at some point. Yeah. So low speed maneuvering, cool. Great suggestions. Thanks, everyone. Wonderful comment by myself there. Really adding to the conversation. I think what I wanted to do was just let people know that I was listening, and because I hadn't responded to any of them. And so I didn't want them to think they were going unnoticed. This person owns a 2012 Yukon Denali XL.
Unit.
Great truck. And GMT 700 or 800 chassis, something like that. 2012 had the 6.2 V8 in it as well with the 6-speed. It's nice. They want to go... Oh, I see what they're asking. They're saying that while they're driving, the truck constantly has to upshift and downshift. First of all, drive your truck in manual mode, so you're not going to destroy your transmission. And then this won't do that because it's electric and has no gears. So I answered your question for you. How does the suspension handle the turns? The Yukon tends to roll a lot. Oh, we're going to push this thing to its limit on turns. Don't worry. It's starting to get cold and windy, isn't it? I'd like to see one in my garage. Me too. So I'll do that. Oh, I can't. Your car's in my garage. How about some off-roading in the snow? Put the quad motor to work? Yeah, but honestly, that might actually happen, which could be kind of interesting. Oh, someone says the steering wheel is capacitive. I
haven't driven it, so I would
Yeah,
know.
okay. Well, we'll test when we do our ADAS stuff. I'll make sure I get you an actual figure on that. What else do we have? Snow traction devices. We don't have any of that stuff. We just got lots of throttle.
Amen, brother.
Traction control off and foot to the floor. The electric roll control system is black magic. It feels like a sedan even at normal height. I would agree. The suspension's really quite impressive. If you haven't watched Dan Edmonds, Dan's a good friend of mine. Dan Edmonds did a great video on Car and Driver's YouTube channel about how the hydraulic works. And basically you have rebound and compression that are hydraulically controlled, and one side's rebound is hooked to the other side's compression. So when you put some pressure into the hydraulic system, it naturally, through hydraulics, stops the truck from rolling, and you can infinitely variably adjust this. And so when you're wheeling off-road, you can drop a wheel all the way down, so it has traction, of course, so you have huge articulation, almost actually as much as a Raptor 37-inch, but the 37-inch Raptor has less articulation than the 35 because it's got to put the big tire somewhere. I know I'm ranting. Watch Dan's video. It was great. Yes, we'll test 0 to 60 based on state of charge. Maybe we'll do like a every 10%.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah, something like that. 100%, 90, 80, 70, 60.
Pretty easy to do.
0%. Actually, it's dead. Sorry, it won't move.
Just stops. It's 10 miles an hour. Brakes.
Full brakes. Okay. Jason Camisa tested it on the 22-inch wheels and got 3 seconds flat. That's awesome. Can you show off-roading energy consumption? Yes. My request is more of the everyday stuff. Speech recognition, showed you, and it's amazing. Driver Plus, I'll show you all that. Nighttime driving, definitely going to be evaluating the headlights. Navigation routing, awesome. Can the Rivian app send a route from your phone to the head unit? We don't have the Rivian app.
I'm guessing it would.
Don't guess.
Oh, my bad. I just said nothing.
We don't know. Cool. Oh, another driver assistance question. Yeah, we really got to do some in-depth driver assist stuff. We will do that. I'd like to see a range test not using climate control. It's marginal.
It's cold or too hot. It's not happening.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to do that, but I always run it with the climate between 68 and 72. I can get into why that may not be the best strategy because sometimes cars view temperature differently, and so we should really measure at face level what the temperature is there for proper benchmarking.
I don't think you have to go that deep into it.
Yeah, that'll be for another day. Traction ramp testing, quad motors. Yeah, we'll just do it off-road. Towing, more towing questions. Tow range, we'll do it. Forest Service road test. Yeah, with gravel road range test, we're already going to do that. Mountain trails. People want to know if low range has enough power to get over things. And they want to make sure that you can descend a slope without having to manage regen on the throttle. Basically, they want like downhill speed regulation. I don't think this has built-in downhill speed regulation. The EQS SUV does. That was yesterday's video with my new German friend. Generator test. They want to charge it from a generator. Well, that would be the same as any EV, so we're not going to really do that, at least this week. We're going to do everything specific to this truck, not so much EVs. Oh, someone enjoys watching our stuff. The only person on the planet, right there.
There were some other comments in there too.
No.
I just want to boost your ego.
No, don't do that. Drive modes, driving comfort, and then I said I picked it up, and 12 people, 12, 13, 14, 15 people on the forums liked my picture of it at the EA station when I plugged in at 2%. Anyway, have to say, really happy to have this truck. We're so thankful, of course, to get it. Wouldn't you say, Timon? Like, this is insane.
Sweet.
Yeah, I mean, we're so pumped, and we're going to do everything we can to demystify it. You know, there's a couple of different ways we could approach our coverage, just to be totally transparent with our audience. We could make a review of this and climb through the gear tunnel like everyone else, and maybe we'll do that. But I think what's better use of our time is really trying to get all the data on it, you know, so acceleration testing, braking testing, range testing, efficiency testing in every mode with every configuration that we do have access to, charging e-bikes, whole bunch of stuff. Anyway, there you have it. It's here. It's going to look, we have so many videos coming. This channel is going to look like we're a Rivian fanboy channel over the next few weeks.
Which we might be a little bit.
Well, I would say I have nothing really negative to say about it other than the tonneau cover and the turn signal noise. Don't like that.
Yeah, that's a little...
One thing I didn't mention when I told you about the turn signal is it is an audio file. So when it kicks on, there's like a click on and a click off, and in between you hear static. So it's not the highest quality. And it also doesn't change turns.
And then change the audio for your turn signal.
Maybe. That could be interesting if they'll let you choose your own turn signal. Let's just not go there. But I will say it doesn't seem to get louder when the music's on louder. So I don't know. Anyway, V90 cross country going down the street over there. You missed it.
Oh, come on.
There's the end of the video. We got a week ahead of us. I'm going to go drive this thing back down to Denver now and do some charging testing. Thanks for watching another Out of Spec Reviews video. Stay tuned, subscribe to this and Out of Spec Motoring if you want to just see a mass amount of Rivian content. And then after that, we have tons of other stuff coming too. Hummer EV, BMW i4, EV6. It's like we're going to be an EV specific channel, even though we're not, but I love electric cars. So F-150 hybrid as well. Thanks for watching. See ya.